is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Awakened Toast here, and today, welcome to a brand new game known as Rumble. Today, I am so excited to be showing this video because seriously, this is a game that I've been looking forward to playing for so long. If you ever have wanted to become an Earthbender, this is the game. I remember like way back when on Blade and Sorcery, I ended up doing like a coverage of some Earthbending mods and such, but they were never to the level of what this game does. This allows us to cast so many Earthbending spells, but they're only able to be done based on your gestures. But the thing about this game that's so much different than most other titles is the fact that it's very strict on how you do the gestures. Like, if you do not land the exact gestures, this game is unforgiving. Like, you have to train and get so used to actually casting them in order to make them work. Like, for instance, if I wanted to go and spawn, like, let's say a small pillar, I would have to go and form my hands like this, and then I would have to pull and twist to go and spawn in another object, which I just love the fact that it's like so difficult to learn, but once you get it, it's so freaking rewarding. It feels so weird to have a game where you have to sit and just actually train your brain in order to go and get all these spawns to work and like get your spells to actually be like fully developed in a way. Like, you actually have to train for yourself in order to learn how to cast a lot of these earthbending things. Just the fact that you actually have to train your brain to have this as like muscle memory is just something that you really don't get in a lot of games, because you know there's a lot of titles out there that are just so hand-holdy and like they tell you exactly how to do some things, but the difference between those hand-holdy games and VR is the fact that you're actually in it. You're the one making the actions. You're the one actually doing these things. And it's just so easy to get invested into VR. You know, like, you're actually the character. You're the one doing the actions. You're the one learning how to do all these things compared to relying on like button presses and the interactions and whatever else. Like, this is you. You're in control, and it depends on how well you can learn your techniques. So as for me, I have just been training and trying to learn how to do all these casts consistently, so then I can actually get a lot better at playing this game fluently, because I feel like for gameplay wise, like, actually learning all these mechanics and getting them like solid and being consistent is gonna be huge in terms of like doing this with the PvP. So what exactly is Rumble VR? Well, this is gonna be an earthbending PvP game, which makes it even better. So not only are you going to be able to learn all these techniques and just play around and like figure this out for yourselves, but you'll also be able to go into lobbies and fight against friends and random players and level up while you do this. And depending on how much you actually play the game, you'll end up getting XP to go and level up to unlock more abilities along the way. This to me just makes me super excited because I just enjoy progression. Like, I mean, like anyone else out there, like just knowing that you're able to improve and like unlock new items, maybe new skins, new abilities, whatever else, it gives you something to grind for. And I feel like so many VR games just don't do that. And seeing a game like this actually incorporate those things makes me so freaking happy, because there's so many titles that just look past the whole grindability, the progression, new skins, new characters, all that stuff, because it's not like their main focuses. But I feel like it's just a lacking point that we haven't been able to see in a lot of VR titles. But before we do anything else, let's go through the basics of what you'll be expecting on the first launch day of Rumble VR. So if we take a look here, this is the Rumble station. And if you go inside this little train, this will actually go and bring you to a playground where you can go and invite friends, kind of play around with some of your techniques, and just kind of goof around and have a good time. But the biggest thing is this is the very important factor. This is your region selector, which you can actually go around and click on like the Canada one. If you wanted to go up to Canada, you can go and also swap this over to, let's say, I don't know, whatever this place is, South Africa. I don't know my continents, man. I live in the United States. What do you expect of me? You can also go over to Russian servers, whatever else. But obviously enough for my ping, I'm gonna want to stay over in like US West or US East, one of those two. And when you go and drag this over to whatever region, the coolest part about it, which I love this, is the fact that it shows you what ping you'll be having and also the amount of fighters that are within that region. Obviously enough, right now the game is unreleased, so there's not going to be really any players playing at the moment, but I just wanted to show off this little feature so once you actually decide to go and hop in, you can actually figure out what servers you're supposed to be in and how to get to them. Also, another very important factor is resetting your height, because sometimes you'll take off your headset and come back to the game and your character will have some weird height issues. So this is something that is an incredibly important factor to your play sessions while you're on Rumble. So all you have to do is just kind of go in a T-pose, and then you hold your top 2 circle buttons on both of your controllers. And after that, you'll hear like a little sound cue, and you are all good to go. And if we take a look over here, this is our rank. And currently at the moment, I am only a boulder level, but I'm working towards becoming the Tor. But I'm wondering what abilities I'm actually going to unlock once I actually get to this level. It's just going to be a matter of time before I can actually get that. And now moving on to this crazy contraption, which you're probably going to have a lot of questions about. But the best part about this game too is the fact that we have little tooltips. This is something that I feel like a lot of games don't really implement. They just expect you to figure it out on your own. But luckily with Rumble, they're not just giving you hand-holding mechanics, but they're very useful ones. So this is the little matchmaker thing. All you have to do is pull the lever in front of the console, and it will automatically set up and start a Rumble match when it has found you a suitable opponent, which I've actually tested this with some other friends and stuff within my Discord, and we have had an absolute blast with it. As for ping wise, if you're going against other people from like completely different regions, it is a little bit rough. Like having that ping delay, especially in a PvP Earthbending game, you're obviously going to notice some issues, but for the most part, if you guys are within the same region, this game is incredibly smooth. All you have to do is literally grab this lever, pull that bad boy down, and you'll see this thing work its magic. I just love the full out aesthetic. It's so much better than your typical just like button press, search queue, whatever else. Like there's just so much character behind this game. And then if you don't want to be in your game, all you have to do is just go and crank that lever up and turn that bad boy off. The search is canceled, and then the umbrella just goes and folds up and goes back to its normal state. But that is how you find your game. So on day one, if any of you guys are wondering how to get into lobbies, that is how. But also, before you can actually hop into any of the games, you do have to go and complete the tutorial, which is just over here at the combat study area, which I highly recommend spending a lot of time in. Before you hop into any lobbies, try to get the essentials down, because if you don't, you're going to be kicking yourself in the foot and wondering, why are my hands not working? Why can't I spawn anything? Because these gestures are not easy. It is not for the light of heart. You will have to study and put in a lot of time in order to get these down. And I'm not joking. It took me about like 20 to 30 minutes of just constant training to get this stuff done. But luckily, the system is very intuitive and very straightforward to figure this stuff out. Like all you have to do is go and like crank this lever to find different like sections for any of the other abilities. And then you just go and like grab one of these bad boys and switch it over there. So if I wanted to go and learn the stomp ability, this basically just tells me how to do it. So if I wanted to, all I'd have to do is just go and knock this up and then stomp, and that would do the ability. But let me go and find another one that will be like a better example. Let's go and rock out like, let's say the wall spawn or something, right? So this is gonna be like one of your first abilities that you ever learn. So it will actually show you where your hand gestures are supposed to be. So initially, like you go and walk up and you got that in the right spot. But then with this fist, you're gonna have to pull this up, and the other one's gonna have to curl to the side. So then you just do that in this like a little motion, and this is how you get your wall spawn. But one of the things is like you'll initially get it and you'll be like, man, I'm really good at this. And then you'll get a little bit ahead of yourself and you'll think you're really good at it. And then eventually you realize like, I can't cast this. Why is this not working consistently? Well, the biggest thing is you just gotta spend time, man. Like you're not gonna get it right away. So I just want to say to the people out there, if you do end up picking up this game and you try it on the launch day, do not get disappointed when you can't cast these spells, because it is difficult. You're gonna have to do a lot of training. I'm gonna reiterate this as many times in this video as possible, because this game really rewards the players that are willing to put in the time and learn the mechanics and truly like become an earthbender. Because when I initially started playing, I just went in and I just thought I could do everything, man. Like I was like, oh, I'm doing so good, I can spawn all these in, I'm all good. And then once I hopped into my first ever PvP match, man, did I suck. I was horrible. I couldn't figure out how to do like my disc spawns. I didn't know how to spawn my ball. Like I was struggling hardcore. So I strongly recommend putting in the time and really learning your mechanics and your techniques before you do anything. But for the most part, I mean, it's pretty straightforward on how to do it. You just have to really be attentive to how you're learning these gestures because, I mean, it's no small feat. Like, it shows you exactly how to do it, but you'll catch yourself, like, trying to repeat that same effect, and sometimes it just doesn't feel like it's casting. Well, it's because you have to get it in that exact casting pose. Because, like, if I wanted to go and cast a disc, I can do it this way, but it's not going to go. But if I move my hand just slightly more down, it's going to work. Like, even there, like, I don't even get it, like, 100% of the time. Like, I'm still, like, learning, but I've gotten it down for the most part. Like, I can usually do it pretty consistently, but even just the slightest of difference in your hand positioning can be the difference in a spell being casted or a spell not being casted. I don't even know how to, like, explain the words because, like, how fun it is. Like, once you get it and you realize, like, man, I got it down. Like, I can cast anything. Like, I am the Earthbender, man. Like, I can do anything, you know, like, you just feel so awesome. I haven't had a game where I've just full out, like, dedicated myself to learning it in so long because there's just so many games that just, they spoon feed you, you know, like, it's like, oh, here's the thing, blah, 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 and it's, like, super, super easy. But having a game that rewards the players that are willing to put in the time is something that's just, like, a breath of fresh air. And another thing before we go and close out this video is I want to show you guys where the location is for this little training grounds, because this took me probably about, like, 5 to 10 minutes just to figure out where it was, because for the tutorial, it tells you have to go and beat the robot over at Howard's yard. And I was searching around, like, trying to figure out, like, where this, like, bot was, whatever else, and I was just completely stupid. All I had to do was just cross the bridge and figure out where that was. So whenever you're able to play this game, you'll have to go over to the combat study, go and learn some of the moves, and then come over to Howard's yard in order to complete the tutorial. Oh, good hit, Howard. And once you're done with this little fight here, you'll be able to actually go and play some of the PvP against those other players. But other than that, guys, I don't want to spoil too much in this video. So if you guys did end up enjoying it and would like to see more content made on some more Rumble, then be sure to smash that motherfucking thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, so you guys can stay up to date with all the video content we post. And also, if you guys would like to see me do a video covering some of the combat within this game against other players, I would love to go and show some of the PvP fights that I've actually been able to do. Oh my god. Howard, you are cracked, my guy. All right, Howard, you're going down. It would be embarrassing if I lost this fight. Holy. Other than that, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, keep it toasty, my friends. Laters.